The draw for diaspora Jews to come to Israel is the quality of Jewish life and Jewish state. That with all our problems and with all our infightings, we should not forget that by far the most comfortable place for Jew to live in integrity, not a double life, is the state of Israel. One of the pushing factors from France and from Europe can be the fact that they feel that it's less that type of liberal Europe which they loved. This combination of being liberal, democratic, and at the same time being Jewish, what makes it so attractive.
Are you concerned by a growing gulf between diaspora and Israeli Jewry, and what do you think is responsible for it?
I don't believe that there is growing gulf. To the contrary, there is growing interdependence. Two major challenges which we face is assimilation on one hand and the legitimization of Israel on the other. And to fight against assimilation, for continuity, Jews of diaspora discovered that they need the state of Israel. And Israel discovers again and again how much it needs world Jewry at the times when our enemies try to delegitimize us.
You've written before that liberal Europe is becoming increasingly hostile to the very idea of a Jewish state. Why is this?
Well, that's the result of this policy of multiculturalism, which now it's already 2 generations after the Second World War, when first intellectuals, and then philosophers, then sociologists, and then politicians of Europe decided that in order to have no war, we have to give away our identity, religious identity, national identity. All the wars were because of our differences. Now let's remove these differences. So it happened so that the idea of Jewish state was born when national states was a very popular issue, but the implementation of it came when the national state became only as a symbol of the new wars. So as a result, there is ideological resistance to the idea of Jewish state. On the other hand, at the same time, this feeling of guilt of the free world towards their colonial past created, and this belief that all the values are relative, it created a situation when there are tens of millions of new citizens of Europe who really don't share the values of the Europe itself.
This leaves European Jews with a choice, either to join the criticism against Israel or to support it and pay the price. Which way do you think they're going in reality?
In the last years, more than 1% of Jewish community moves from France to Israel every year. I can say such type of phenomena we never had in any country of the free world. So the facts speak for themselves.
Every wave of mass migration has changed the face of Israeli society. How do you think that a mass migration of Western Jews, in particular from France, might shape Israeli society and in particular its attitudes towards religion and state?
Aliyah from France is very much traditional Aliyah. If you compare it with the big wave of Aliyah from the former Soviet Union, where overwhelming majority was absolutely disconnected from anything Jewish. They are all people who feel very close to the tradition, to the history, and to the state of Israel. On the other hand, we should not forget that these are people who are coming from the free world, and I don't think that they would like the fact that if there will be too much interference to their private life and the way how they are worshipping.
To what extent do you believe that Israel should take into account the beliefs and opinions of diaspora Jewry who aren't citizens in setting its own policy?
The state of Israel sees itself as the home for all the Jews. And that's why its top priority must be to make every Jew and every community in the world to feel here at home. And that's why every issue discussed in Israel, which has influence on the life of Jews from diaspora, definitely which has an influence on the status of the Jews of diaspora in Israel, we have to take into account, and we have to be very sensitive to their needs.